Hey guys, I'm Mark from Positive Spot and welcome to Game Week 25 of the Premier League Review. If you're new to the series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we take a look at the current Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the Premier League top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 11th, Sunday the 12th and Monday the 13th of February. Also next to the games are the times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific game, just go at the time next to the match and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. And we start with Sunderland versus Southampton. Southampton had been slowly building up the pressure on Sunderland, and their hard work paid off in the 30th minute when Manolo Gabbiadini put the visitors ahead. It came when Ryan Bertrand whipped in a great ball from the left-hand side, and on the end of it was Gabbiadini to convert the ball into the net. And Southampton would double their lead on the brink of half-time when Manolo Gabbiadini got his second of the match. It came when Dusan Tadic played the ball to the Italian, and he turned brilliantly, leaving both John O'Shea and Lamina Cornet in the dust before going forward and finishing past Vito Manone. After this, the game went a bit silent, with neither team really setting the world on fire, but we would get another goal in this one when a Sunderland player scored. Not in the right goal, when Ryan Bertrand caused some trouble down the left wing before putting a ball into the box aimed for Shane Long, but it was Sunderland defender Jason Denayer who on the end of it, and he unfortunately converted into his own net. And Southampton would just be adding more misery to Sunderland's day when in this 92nd minute they added their fourth through Shane Long. It came when Shane Long gave the ball to James Ward-Prowse, James Ward-Prowse gave it back to him, and Shane Long easily slot past Manone. And that's how the game would end. Southampton deserved winners as they were all over Sunderland, and they were in a completely different class, and I feel sorry for Sunderland fans as their team blows hot and cold. Last week they won 4-0, this week they're losing 4-0, just make up your minds. But with this result, Southampton are in 11th and Sunderland remain on the bottom of the table. And we move on to West Ham versus West Brom. The first West Brom attack led to the first West Brom goal when they took the lead in the 6th minute through Nasser Chadli. It came when West Ham clumsily gave the ball away on the edge of their own box, and James Morrison slid the ball straight through Cheku Kyoto's legs into Nasser Chadli, and it left Chadli one-on-one with Darren Randolph as he slid the ball into the bottom corner. But West Ham would equalise in the 63rd minute when Manuel Lanzini hit a curling shot from outside of the area, but Ben Foster made a brilliant save as he tipped the ball onto his crossbar, but the ball fell perfectly to Sofiane Feghouli, and all that was left for the Algerian to do was tap home to put the Irons level. And it looked like West Ham would steal all 3 points, as in the 87th minute they took the lead through Manuel Lanzini. It came when scorer of West Ham's first goal, Sofiane Feghouli, put a ball into Manuel Lanzini on the right wing. Lanzini made his way into the middle of the pitch just outside of the area and unleashed a powerful shot that swerved into the bottom corner past Ben Foster. And not soon after we thought that West Ham had stolen all the points, had West Brom came back and took away 2 of those points as they equalised the scoring through Johnny Evans. It came when Chris Brunt played in the corner that went over everyone else, but at the back post rising above everyone else with Northern Irish defender Johnny Evans to head home for a late equaliser. And that's how the game would end, and West Ham deserved the point, and probably more as they were the more attacking side for most of the game, but they were wasteful until Feghouli scored West Ham's first. That's when they seemed even more dangerous. But with this, West Ham are still picking up points, however not as many as they like, but despite this point they actually dropped down to 10th, and West Brom continue their good season with them being in 8th. And we move on to Arsenal versus Hull. Arsenal opened the scoring in the 33rd minute, and to be fair to them, it had been coming, however the goal shouldn't have stood. We'll get on to that. The goal came when a Kieran Gibbs shot isn't cleared, and on the end of it was Alexis Sanchez to put the ball into the net. And here's where it goes down. Alexis Sanchez put the ball into the net with his hand. A clear handball. Honestly, how the refs didn't spot that, beyond me. The refs this season have been atrocious when it comes to handball decisions. United have gotten away with so many, and now the disease is spreading. This is why I think we should bring in computer referees. If the referee is unsure of something, he can look at a replay, then make his mind up. Rugby has it, and it works perfectly. But nonetheless, Arsenal did take the lead. Goal shouldn't have counted, but it did. And honestly, Arsenal fans, you know, I hate you this week. You can't complain about United getting all the decisions and then you just go, oh, it's about time. It's about time somebody else was lucky. You know, if this was a Manchester United game, I'd be so much more pissed. But I'm not, because I like Arsenal, and I'm probably a bit too ill to get angry this week. So I'm chill with you this week, Arsenal fans. I'm a chill. In the 91st minute, Arsenal would actually have the perfect chance to wrap the game up when they were ordered a penalty for handball. I wish I was making this up. It came when Arsenal break forward and it leads to a Lucas Perez header that was handballed on the line from Sam Klukas when his goalkeeper basically left him for dead. He was sent to the locker room and the ref pointed to the spot. it was the right decision. You just got to feel a bit sorry for Hull with the earlier decision not going their way either. Alexis Sanchez stepped up to take the spot kick and he slotted the ball into the net. And this goal was actually legit. And that's how the game would end. Arsenal fans, consider yourself lucky that I'm not more pissed. Like I said, if this was United, I'd be all over you. Not because I quite like Arsenal, like I said. And, you know, it's only one decision. United have had bloody tons this season. You've only got one. It was a stupid one. How the referee didn't see it, no idea. Bit harsh for Hull, actually. In the end, they were pushing Arsenal to the limit in the second half. And probably could have taken a point away. But Hull fans will have nothing to be ashamed of in the second half as they played well. 2-0 is a harsh scoreline for them, but with this result it kept Hull in 18th and put Arsenal in 3rd, but they could drop down to 4th with Manchester City still to play on the Monday. And we move on to Liverpool versus Tottenham. Liverpool were the better team for the first 20 minutes and were pushing Tottenham to the limits, and they deservedly took the lead in this one when Sadio Mane put them ahead in the 16th minute. It came when Tottenham gave the ball away on the halfway line, and it ended up with Jorginho Wijnaldum playing a lovely ball through to Sadio Mane, who ran beyond his man and lifted the ball over Hugo Lloris and into the back of the net. And only 2 minutes later, Liverpool would double their lead when Sadio Mane got his and Liverpool's second. It came when Eric Dyer intercepted a long pass forward, but in the blink of an eye, in came Sadio Mane, who stole the ball from him. He laid it off and it ended up with both Roberto Firmino and Adam Lallana taking shots that were saved, and it ended up again with Sadio Mane, who this time made no mistake as he smashed the ball into the net. And that's how the game would end. Nothing really happened in the second half. It was a stop-start game as the referee just loved the sound of his own whistle. Every 30 seconds the whistle would blow for a foul. Always to Tottenham, always Tottenham. I can remember this clearly. I think it was Mike Dean as well. He's got a track record of loving Tottenham. He once literally celebrated a Tottenham goal. But I can remember this one clear as day. There was a point when a Tottenham player handballed it, clearly handballed it. I saw it, the commentators saw it, the fans saw it, referee didn't, ref gave nothing. Then a Liverpool player, obviously getting a bit frustrated by all these trash, just all these trash decisions, barely touched him in the back. I'd say it was like a massage on the back. Ref blew for a free kick and a yellow card. What the fuck? But finally, with this result, Liverpool are back in winning ways, thank Christ. They ended a 5-match winless run and it lifted them into 4th, again with Manchester City still to play, and left Tottenham in 2nd. And we move on to Manchester United versus Watford. United took the lead in this match 31 minutes into the first half through Juan Mata. It came when Zlatan Ibrahimovic heads the ball towards goal, however it was brilliantly saved by Aurelio Gomez. The ball ended up with Anthony Martial, who gave it to Mata, and then the Spaniard put the ball past Gomez from close range. And Manchester United would get their second in the 60th minute when Zlatan Ibrahimovic played the ball through to Anthony Martial. Martial then makes his way into the box before finishing low past Aurelio Gomez. And that's how the game would end. Another good result for United, who are now unbeaten in their last 16 Premier League games. And for once, this actually moved them up into 5th for a bit until Liverpool won, and then they swiftly moved back to where they belong. And Watford are down in 13th. And we move on to Bournemouth versus Manchester City. Manchester City were building up the pressure for the first 30 minutes and their hard work paid off when they took the lead in the 28th minute through Raheem Sterling. It came when Manchester City broke down the left-hand side with Leroy Sané. He crosses the ball in. Steve Cook gets a slight touch on it, but it wasn't enough to take it out of the path of Sterling as he tapped the ball in at the far post. And Manchester City would double their lead in the 70th minute through an own goal from Tyrone Mings via the help of City substitute Sergio Aguero. It actually came from a Bournemouth attack and Manchester City successfully breaks, and it ends up with Raheem Sterling playing the ball into the box. On the end of it was the sliding Sergio Aguero, and his goal-bound shot is deflected in via Tyrone Mings. And that's how the game would end, and what a game this was to liven up on Monday night. Bournemouth were giving City a run for their money, more than anybody expected them to. But Manchester City probably deserved winners as they had too much for Bournemouth, and with this result Bournemouth are in 14th and Manchester City actually shot up to 2nd. And we move on to Swansea versus Leicester. Swansea took the lead in this match 37 minutes into the first half, and what a goal this was. It came when a corner is whipped deep into the box and Federico Fernandez flicked the ball onto Alfie Mawson, who turns the ball in with a stunning volley. I think what makes this goal better is that he's a defender. If this was a striker, you wouldn't think anything of it, but the fact that he's a defender hitting the ball with that much precision and power is unbelievable. And Swansea would double their lead on the brink of half-time when Martin Olsen put Swansea 2-0 up. It came when some nice build-up play between Fernando Llorente and Gylfi Sigurdsson left Martin Olsen clean through with Kasper Schmeichel, and Schmeichel is beaten at his near post by the Swede. And that's how the game would end. A good win for Swansea against their relegation counterparts, but Leicester are looking more and more certain to go down as they are only 1 point above the bottom 3. Ladies and gentlemen, who'd have ever thought that one season we'd be saying the Premier League champions are fighting to stay in the league. But with this result, Swansea actually leapfrogged Leicester up to 15th, and Leicester are teetering on the edge in 17th. And we move on to Burnley versus Chelsea. It wouldn't take long for this one to get its first goal when Chelsea took the lead in the 7th minute. It came when N'Golo Kante played it to Pedro, who played it inside, finds its way out to Victor Moses. He takes a touch that takes him round his man. Moses then found Pedro, and Pedro steered the ball past the keeper. It just looked too easy for Chelsea. But would you believe it, Burnley actually equalised in the 24th minute from a gorgeous free kick. It came when Burnley had a free kick about 25 yards out. Robbie Brady stepped up to take it, and he managed to get the ball up and over the wall, back down again to beat Thibaut Courtois into the top corner. And how about this for a stat? Robbie Brady is the first player to score a direct free kick against Chelsea for 4 years. And that's how the game would end. The second half kind of died a bit, and to be fair, Burnley were the better team. Yeah, for the first quarter of the match it was Chelsea all the way, but as soon as Burnley equalised, the tides turned and Burnley looked like it was them who were the team at the top of the league. In my opinion, Burnley are genuinely quite unlucky not to win this match, but it's a big point for them anyway. And with this result, Chelsea are obviously still in first and Burnley are in 12th. And we move on to Stoke versus Crystal Palace. The only thing that happened in this game was the goal that ended up winning the match. It came in the 67th minute when Marko Arnautovic switched the play brilliantly and found Ramadan Sobhi. He held up the ball before feeding the ball through to the Welsh Xavi Joe Allen, who did the rest, putting the ball low into the bottom left corner. And that's how the game would end. Stoke probably deserved to win. They were the better team in the second half. They created the better chances, looking more likely to score, which they did. But it's looking ever so likely that Crystal Palace will be going down this season, and Sam Allardyce is about to lose his relegation virginity, as Crystal Palace have only won 1 game since Big Sam took over in December. With this result, it actually lifted Stoke into the top half of the table, and they were in 9th, and Crystal Palace remain in 19th. And finally, we've got Middlesbrough versus Everton. I mean, what else can I say? 0-0 game. Everton deserve to win, but they extend their unbeaten run to 8. And it's a big point for Middlesbrough, who probably didn't expect to take a point against this in-form Everton side. But with this 0-0 draw, Middlesbrough are down in 16th, Everton are up in 7th. Let's move on. There's nothing else for me to say about that match. Right, so that's all the fixtures for this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea are top of the table, 8 points clear following their draw with Burnley. Manchester City jump up to 2nd following their win at Bournemouth. Tottenham drop down to 3rd following their loss to Liverpool. Arsenal 4th after their win against Hull, and Liverpool make up the top 5 after being on the winning side of the Tottenham match. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Sunderland are still on the bottom of the table following their big loss against Southampton. Crystal Palace are 19th after their loss against Stoke. Hull are 18th following their loss against Arsenal. Leicester are just above the relegation zone in 17th, and Middlesbrough make up the bottom 5 on 16th. Moving on to the top goal scorers, and as you can see, Alexis Sanchez is back on the top following his 2 goals against Hull. That put him on 17 goals. Romelu Lukaku is 2nd on 16 goals, with him not scoring this week against Middlesbrough. Diego Costa is 3rd, also not scoring, on 15 goals and 5 assists. Also not scoring this week was Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who's 4th on 15 goals and 4 assists. And actually, a lot of these people didn't score this week, because making up the top 5 was Harry Kane on 14 goals and 3 assists. Right, so that's all I've got for you this time. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll be back on Tuesday the 28th of February. Yes, 2 weeks for the next episode of the Premier League Review. We'll be here next week because there's no Premier League fixtures due to the FA Cup. So we'll be back in 2 weeks for the next episode. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. The link is in the description, or it's at @portionofsport_. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, you can do that too. The links to both of those are in the description as well. All my channels should be popping onto your screen round about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.